Hey everybody, I picked up a Dyson ball vacuum that was sitting in the trash can, and I plugged it in and it runs, but the brush on the bottom doesn't work. So I don't really know anything about Dyson vacuums. I don't know where the filters are. I don't know anything about them, but I'm going to try to open this thing up now. And I think there are two filters on here, and there's a belt and there is a brush. I opened this thing up last night, and I think it said DC30, but from what I can find, there... Oh, what am I doing? I feel like an idiot. Right on the front, it says DC24, right as I'm doing this, DC24. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? Right over there. All right, yeah, I opened it up, and I couldn't find out what the model number was. So, that would have helped me a little bit. I'm going to try to show you what you do, or how you just experiment with things and find them in the trash and fix them. So my videos usually go for 10 hours, 20 hours, I don't know, I don't care. But you just got to get in there and do it. Filter A, there's a filter A. How does this thing open? A little latch down here, filter A. Alright, so that's the first filter. I think on the internet it said there's a pre-filter and a post-filter. It's a little dirty in there, not that it really matters for using a vacuum. I don't want to break this. I'd like to... Oh, so that's kind of dirty. I don't know if you can wash these things. It's a HEPA filter. You might be able to wash them. I'd rather not ruin it. That's really dirty in there. It's kind of nasty. This thing's probably like 1,000 years old. So if I keep it, I believe two filters are like $20 or something, and the belt is like $10 or something. So that is a little dirty, but that will work, at least for now. I'm not going to wash this thing down. There's just a little bit of dirt inside there. No filter on the bottom, so I'm not worried about that. That's just the base that the canister goes on. So I thought this was going to be harder than... Yeah, a lot of dirt in there. So this really could use a little bit of a cleanup, but it wouldn't matter. It's a vacuum, so... So the next step is going to be to move the camera down here. Hey, this is a review channel, so if you have something you need reviewed, if I can get a hold of it, I'll do it. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, comment. Nobody does any of that stuff, so my channel's screwed because nobody helps me out. No, I'm just kidding. This thing. Does this move? How do you tilt this thing back? How do you lift this up? How do you tilt the vacuum back? I don't want to break it. Is this pressed down? Oh, there it is. I almost broke it. All right. What do we have here? So we've got this thing. We have a ball. We have this nice big ball. A blue button over here and a door. I don't know what's in here. I don't know if there's a filter in here. This might be the second filter. Maybe this is the post filter. Oh! How does this door come off? I know the lighting's not that great. All right, there's a filter in there. A lot of dirt. I could wash that down. Doesn't really matter right now. I don't know how this thing comes out. There's a button over here. How dirty is this? I would think this one's filthy compared to the others. Yow. That's probably never been changed. I'm going to look on the internet and see if I can wash these things instead of replacing them. This probably cost a lot of money. It's not just the filter. It's a whole plastic unit. And then there's a motor inside there, a little bit of dirt, not too much. The filter really took care of that. So it's kind of nasty. The main thing that I need to look at before I invest any money, because filters, yeah, I'll put the money in for a filter, but the canister is not turning, or whatever it is, the brush. How does this close? So that snaps in place. The brush is not turning, and with a Dyson, is that sealed? Yeah, okay. With the Dyson, okay, there we go. With the Dyson has a motor inside here for the brush. So if the brush isn't turning, either the brush unit is broken. I just heard a vibration. It was my watch. I just got a message on the watch. Sorry. So there's a motor in here that turns a belt that turns the brush. Now, the brush could be clogged up, or the belt could be broken, and if the belt's not broken, then chances are the motor's burned out. And in that case, you end up spending about $60 to replace this, maybe $50, I don't know. And the question is it worth getting a Dyson for $50 plus filters, maybe $60, $70, maybe not. So how do you take this thing apart? As I said, I've never really worked on a Dyson before. So I'm going to get a sip of water. Delicious. Let's turn this upside down. See what we have here. Wow, look at all that dirt inside there. I think you can see the dirt. A lot of dust. I can't really hear if it's doing anything. Now, I think, can you take this piece off? Can you remove this piece? I saw something online where you can remove this on some of them, but this is an early one. And I don't know if this comes off. Well, it's got to come off because you can buy it. You can buy this thing for, oh, I see something over here. I see a little lever over here. What is this lever for? Maybe this thing is just a piece of junk and I can't replace it. Oh, because when the thing is upright, it presses down and it locks this in. So if it's not locked in, can I turn this and remove this somehow? I don't know. Maybe I can put something in there. Before I messed with all of that, before I take a lot of time, waste a lot of time, where is that screwdriver I had? There's a screw over here, so I want to open this thing up, and if I can see that the belt is broken, is that showing up in the camera? Yeah. If I can see that the belt is broken, then I'll just, well, that was easy. Decide to buy a new belt, and then I'll do how does this come off? Is it just, I don't know if it's got a quarter turn thing or if it's just unscrews and it snaps out. Does it slide out? Does it slide? Does it come up? Does it go to the end? Yeah, it seems like the screw's just going in circles, so I think I'm already done. I think it's broken, is what I think. I don't want to snap this. I believe they sell these online. The end caps. There's a button over here. I don't know what this. I don't know if this is for the. I don't know what this. Oh, okay, that's what it is. It turns. It turns, and I'll be back. Oh, let me zoom in a little better. All right, just pop that back. Okay, so that has a cap, a little end cap. This is what I guess I saw online for the end cap. People are breaking them, maybe. A little bit of dirt in there. I know not the best lighting. I don't have the best lighting here. Will this slide out? I don't know if I have to take this whole thing apart or if this just slides out. They make it really easy. Good for them. That's the other end, so it just snaps into a thing on the bottom. I'm going to clean that up definitely, but what I want to find is, I want to look for a belt. And the belt would be on this side, on the bottom side, since... Alright, what do we have over here? What do we have? Can I get this in on the camera? I think I'm going to have to open this up. We have this other side, this is spinning, but I can't really see if there's a belt in there. It's tight, so there's definitely a belt. So there's a reason this is not turning. I hope it's not the motor. I hope the motor is not burned out. I'll be back. I'm going to open this up a little bit more, if I can. Might have to remove some screws. And I think we have some screws over here. We have 8 screws over here. So I'm going to open this thing up and then come back. It uses a Torx head screw. Remember I said there's a screw over here? I don't know if, I think that holds this whole unit on. So I'm going to loosen this and see if I break anything. Before I do that, it's a T10. It's a T10 Torx. It's kind of weird. I just worked on something yesterday, and it also had a T10 Torx. So I never like to mix up screws. I'm sure these are all the same size, but I'm pretty careful about not screwing up my screw order. So I'll be back after I remove the 8 screws. This thing is almost stripped down, but there are a couple other things that I should have checked before. There is a brush button on the vacuum that I don't know if it's broken or if I pressed it, but I'm going to go on the top of this thing first, put a screwdriver in there where this little gaposis is, this indent, slide it in there, try to get this to come up. Screwdriver's too big. All right. So that is out of the way. How does this come off? Does this come off? There's a screw, I think, at the bottom. Do I have to take that screw out? Can I just turn this thing out? No, didn't have to take it out. There is the unit. I looked on the internet. There's absolutely no info about a brush bar at all. About the belt. There are 2 pins over here. I don't know if you check down at the bottom if you need to. If you don't want to mess with all this, you take this thing off, put a meter down here, be careful, tilt the vacuum back, the handle's got to be back, plug it in, and then measure if you have 120 volts or 220 at the 2 pins down there that connect into here. Then you know that the vacuum part is giving you the voltage and your problem isn't here. Also, there is a reset switch over here for the motor. I think I pressed that in. I'm going to open this thing up anyway just to clean everything out and see what's going on in here. So you have the button on the top for the brush. I don't know if I pressed that. I don't know if I reset this. I think I did. What else is there? So this is kind of filthy. I don't know why this isn't coming out. I took out the Took out the 7 screws. Obviously, there's another screw in here that I just don't see. I might have to remove these wheels. I don't think so. I don't know why they would make you do that. But I can't find anything on the internet about a belt for the Dc24, which is weird. I don't know why this isn't coming off. I don't know if the front, I've got part of it that, oh, almost broke the whole thing, and then it would go in the trash. Trying to lift up on this without breaking it. That might have something to do with it, and it might have nothing to do with it. We're getting a little closer, but it really, oh! Okay, so the front piece pops off. I don't know if I broke it. I think it just snaps in. This front piece goes on there somehow, and let's see if that made a difference. Didn't make a difference. It's not popping out. I don't understand why. So I'll be back again after I figure out why it is not coming off at the back. I want to do as little as possible, and I just looked inside here, and there is a belt that is still attached. Is it still attached? I thought I just saw it attached. Yeah, there's the belt in there. So I'd love to know how to open this thing up. If somebody wants to tell me how to pop this thing open, that would be good in case the belt ever breaks. But I know the belt works, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this up a little bit, try to polish this up, get some of the dirt off of here, get some of the dirt out of here. I'm going to go in here. Where's that brush that I had a while ago? I'm going to go clean this mess up. And since I know the belt is good, I'd really love to know if the motor is good. and I might do the voltage check, and then I'll get back on the video. What did I learn? The brush is clean. Washed it down, removed all the hair. I'm going to dry it off a little better. Clean this as much as I could. I put water in there. I know you got to be careful because there's a motor in here, but I put some cleaner in there. This stuff I might use some paint remover, brush cleaner, get rid of some of those scratches on there maybe. So why can't I replace the belt on here? Because this is a lifetime belt. You cannot replace the belt on the DC24. I think you can on the DC25 and all the models after that, but this has a lifetime belt. If the belt breaks, which it's not supposed to do, but if it breaks, you replace this whole head. I don't even know what it cost, but you just replace it. So what I understand is, besides me wasting a lot of time doing this, the voltage, you check the voltage if you get that far, and if you don't have any voltage down on the motor part of it over here, the vacuum part, then this is probably, if you don't have any voltage over there, then you've got a problem tracing the wires. If you have the voltage over there, then you've got a problem in the head. You replace the head or you throw it away. I took these wheels out. You pop them out with a screwdriver, remove all the dirt that's on both sides of the wheel, and then push one side in all the way and then snap the other in with the screwdriver. Make sure you don't put it into your fingers. So there's a lot of pet hair on this thing still. I had a white pet, fairly long hair. So there's not much that I can do with this. Hopefully I can get this thing mounted back. I think I can. I'll do that before I close this thing up. And then I'm going to, so mostly what they say is this is the resetting thing. You take the brush out, clean it up, put it back in, press this button, hopefully it resets it. If not, then you throw it in the garbage can, and I'll be back with my continuation of the video. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, comment, you know, all that cool stuff. Leave me a donation if you want. Ask for my PayPal info. Thanks. What we found out so far is that everything I showed you in the beginning is a big waste of time if you're doing the DC24. Anything else, not so much a waste of time. But I was able to pull out a lot of pet hair that was stuck inside this thing. But you don't want to mess with this from what I read. You don't want to really open this up on the DC24. So look for the screw part over here. We're going to slide this thing. Is that what I want? Yeah. Slide this thing back in with the screw on the top. It looks like it turns. I'm going to take this little end cap and I'm going to pop it in there. And I'm going to take this thing and turn it downward. And then I'm going to take the flat blade screwdriver that I left in the other room. Oh my gosh. Do I have a... Oh, here we go. I'm going to turn this a quarter turn. It'll close that in place. So now, I'm going to go back to the vacuumo. And I'm going to shoot this back on here. And then I'm going to take this clamp and I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to push this clamp over. Hopefully I don't break it. Doesn't want to go... Oh, I'm pressing down. You don't want to press down. All right, there you go. Now we are back to the way it was before. I'm going to clean this in a minute, only if I know that the motor works. So in this case, if the belt doesn't turn, if the wheel doesn't turn, if the brushes don't turn, I'm not going to waste my time buying new filters. And well, you can't buy a brush, so I might buy filters. If this thing works, maybe I'll buy a filter. This thing obviously needs a little bit of cleaning, but I want to see if the brush is working. So I'm going to stand this back up. I'm going to put... Doesn't that want to... now it doesn't want to do what it needs to do. Let me put the brush back on here. Let's get that so you can see it. Again, I'm not a Dyson person. So, oh, it snapped in place. Got that. I don't know if this is going to close. I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's closing right now. So what I'm going to do is plug this thing back in. Hopefully the brush is going to turn. You have to tilt it backwards to make it turn. And think that's also what this button is over here, where it shows that there's a brush. I don't know if that switch is even working. Oh, okay, so it does work. It's kind of stuck, which makes me wonder if it's even working or if it's a defective switch. I wouldn't spend the money to fix it. This thing is so old. What I need to do is clean the floor after I'm done with this, because a bunch of junk went all over the place. So what I want to do now is piss off the neighbors by running a vacuum at, what time is it? I don't even know, like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The main thing is now I'm going to extend this. I don't even know how this handle extends and locks in place. Okay, locked in place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point the camera down. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can all see what's going on there. We have brushes that are not working yet because the thing's not on. So I'm going to turn it on. How do you tilt this back? Oh, that's right. You do what I just did before. Let's leave this in place. Let's, I don't think it's going to work unless it's tilted back. So I'm going to tilt this back. I'm going to press this thing to turn it on now. Hey, the brushes are working. I'm going to press the button. Brushes just stopped. I'm going to press it again. Brush is working. Brushes just stopped. I think it's fixed. You can see how this switch is kind of sticky. You never want to have a sticky switch. I might be able to go in there and put some lubrication in there. It feels like it's just stuck. The switch doesn't feel like it's broken. Well, maybe it is broken. How hard is this to get to? It's probably doable. I don't think I'm not going to spend the time or the money to do it. I don't want to do a tear down on this thing. It's not worth it to me. I think it works. I will do a little bit of silicone spray and maybe that will help. See how it kind of wobbles and it's not smooth. I put some silicone spray in there. I could put some contact cleaner in there, some alcohol maybe. It's working a lot better. It's actually moving now, whereas before it was stuck. I don't know if it's locking in place anymore. Is it locking in place? I think it's locked in place. So the switch is broken. That's okay, there it is. You tilt it forward, locks in, tilt it back, snaps out. So I have a nice vacuum cleaner that is probably, wow, 15, 16, maybe 5, 6, 7, 5 to 10 years old, for free. Thanks for watching, people.